Welcome back to Brooktail Friday podcast. I don't know. You're watching Barbieheimer on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday.
All right.
Barbieheimer.
They're really good. Really good movies.
Really good. All right.
Yeah. I gave Barbie 8 out of 10, and Oppenheimer was like 9 out of 10. Barbie, maybe it could have been a little shorter, but and that's after watching a fucking 3-hour long Oppenheimer movie, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like probably Oppenheimer maybe could have cut out a couple of things, but the explosion was pretty satisfying. Fucking everything was pretty much. It was it's good times.
That's good.
Good times. Also, I have a comb exactly like that one at home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the exact same color and everything.
Same one.
Unironically, the
Mexican comb.
It is. Yeah, it really is. It's from Mexico.
All right, what are we talking about today?
We had. So I mean, yeah, it was just pretty much the Barbieheimer. Did you watch? You watched Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
The
Oh well,
episode?
but I legit don't want to talk about the new stuff because they're on strike.
What are you?
The
I mean,
SAG-AFTRA.
it's not new, to be fair. Remember?
Yeah, it is. They're all new stuff. We're not supposed to talk about anything that's coming out.
No.
That's why
I'm saying
even the actors walked off of Oppenheimer. They walked
off
off
the red carpet,
premiere.
right?
Yeah,
I remember.
that's why.
We
We could always talk about other stuff.
Well, remember, to be fair, we're not technically writers or actors, so we're not held down by the guild.
No, but it'd still be scabbing.
No. Scabbing to the 30 people that watch.
Yeah, yeah. That like a lot of people on TikTok blew up because they had like 30 followers, and then they're like, oh, but you know, if since all the actors
I'm
are
filling in
yeah.
the content void.
Yeah. Yeah, and they blew up. That's when they blew up. They had like 30 followers or whatever, and then they were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna scab." And then they went viral.
Scab.
Because, yeah, like that's the funny part. Like they tried to like cancel them, but they blew up bigger than ever.
See,
They got shit on though, and they got really mad. Like there's this one I'm in particular I'm thinking of just because he's low key ugly, and he was like I can imagine his face right now, and I can like feel the breath on like my neck from him. He's just like,
jeez.
you know, since the writers and actors are currently on strike, I think I have a good chance of making it in Hollywood. And he makes like all this Christian propaganda.
Oh, of course. So The Sound of Freedom. Speaking about Christian propaganda, The Sound of Freedom. It's a QAnon movie that right-wingers have latched onto and are being like, the Democrats don't want you to see this movie because there's like these things tied to it, and like Democrats hate they hate it when they get justice served and stuff like that, right? All this BS. And the lead actor Jim Caviezel, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He played Jesus Christ in the classic "I Hope You Get Raped by a Pack of N-Words" director Mel Gibson, back in Passion of the Christ, right? And Jim went to a QAnon conference and started spouting all this BS, like President Trump's gonna come back and Biden's not real. And then he tweeted out, let me see, this was like 3 days ago. Like today's Sunday, right? This episode comes out tomorrow. But this was like 3 days ago that he tweeted out, President Trump is going to save children, the likes of which you have never seen. You might even say he's the new Moses telling Pharaoh, world cabal, to let the children go free. Mr. President, you are the new Moses, but I'm still Jesus. Winky face. Absolutely unhinged.
Unhinged, yeah.
This guy's out of his fucking mind. That's pretty much all I've learned from that. He's out of his fucking mind. He's just super right wing. That's the whole thing.
Super right wing. Yeah.
And the fact that he spoke at a QAnon conference, and then QAnon people latch onto this and are being like, "Oh, this shouldn't be
an issue."
Yeah,
but like I don't believe them. You know why? Because whenever one of their party members is caught, like literally like a week before the Sound of Freedom came out, another Republican was caught like involved in like children porn and child trafficking.
Of course.
Like every other day, it feels like another one comes out, and it's like they don't care if it's their party. They only care when it's like someone else doing it.
Exactly.
You know what's even more like what makes it even more of like a fallacious argument that their argument is that they care about child trafficking. It's not only the fact that they try to equivocate like child pedophilia with like LGBT people.
Hmm?
It's also the fact that a gay person on TikTok took down a child trafficking ring using TikTok, and not a peep was heard from them.
Look
Not
at
a
that.
single thing. If it really truly was bipartisan, why aren't they singing his praises? If child, like, trafficking, all that is supposed to be a bipartisan issue, why don't they like congratulate this person for taking down a child trafficking ring?
And also, if they actually cared about children, why are they coming after their school lunch?
Yes, that's true.
Remember-
It's dumb on multiple levels. It's,
Yeah.
why are they how do you call it, anti like the one of the most recent people, like Republicans, to come out as like a presidential candidate, one of his main platform points is oh no, we're gonna try to institute a nationwide not childbirth, what's it called, not abortion pill, what's it, birth control pill ban, basically anti-birth control.
Is that RFK Jr. by
I
any chance?
think so. There's like one or two, but RFK Jr. is particularly insane. He's running as a Democrat, but he's like a Republican in every way,
Dude,
shape, and form.
He is. He is known for promoting anti-vaccine misinformation and public health-related conspiracies. It's funny because like he's a candidate for the Democratic Party nomination in 2024.
But it's a psyop.
Yeah, he's not going to get it. There's really like zero chance. The real Anthony Fauci, a letter to liberals, and he's running as Democratic. Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah.
He's basically Kristen Sinema, you know?
Yeah, but it's worse, and it's worse for them, for like the Republicans too, because there's no one that like Kristen Sinema at least appeals to certain people. She's bi, obviously, so like there's ways that she can get a lot of the more milquetoast liberals to like side with her on certain issues and kind of make her way through it. But who would like? It was such like a specific niche that RFK Jr. is trying to appeal to. It's not like who would be
Liberals
like,
who are too liberal and are anti-vaccine?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
those?
Like not even that, because then they're like, you have to also dislike Biden to a point, and those liberals
Yeah.
actually like Biden even if they don't like Fauci. So who is he really trying to appeal? Like, what's his niche? Like, we know his intention is to like essentially weaken the Democratic ballot, but who? Not really anyone that's like left leaning would vote for him. Not really, at least not from what I've seen him talk about. He's basically just Jordan Peterson light to an extent.
Pretty much. And he's on so many roids, and he's on the vaccines cause autism claims. He's been doing that stuff since 2005, dude. And he was one of the two major buyers of anti-vaccine Facebook advertising in late 2018 and early 2019.
I didn't know that.
The Children's Health Defense, which he helps fund, has attempted to undermine the fact that vaccines do not cause autism, whereas discredited former doctor incorrectly hypothesized that MMR vaccines cause autism. Kennedy focused on the subset of vaccines that contain thimerosal, a mercury-based antimicrobial, which has been found not to cause autism.
Yeah, bro. Okay, have you seen Alan Wakefield speak at anti-vax conferences recently?
Alan Wakefield?
Yeah, Alan Wakefield. He's the
No clue who
original
it is.
anti-vax person. He's the doctor, the discredited doctor they're talking about. He's the one that basically started the modern movement of anti-vaxxers.
Andrew Wakefield.
Andrew Wakefield,
Okay,
not Alan Wakefield. Sorry.
I just saw his fucking name too. Andrew Wakefield.
Andrew, sorry, apologies for getting this piece of shit's name wrong. How do you call it? He looks so dead inside because he was a medical doctor, and he technically was never anti-vax per se. He was anti one specific vaccine so that parents could buy 3 different vaccines so that he could profit off of it, because he had patented a new vaccine for each of the individual ones that he was railing against, because he was railing against the MMR vaccine, and he was saying, just take it individually and make me a lot of money, and well, now the movement spiraled so far out of control that that when he gives talks, because like they worship him as like a semi-god for starting the movement, right?
Of course.
But like their current positions are so far beyond what he wanted, what he was initiating, that he's just there looking like dead fish, he like hates talk, like you can see it in his face, like he hates talking to these people that don't know anything about science, because albeit he was like a crooked con man, he was still a doctor and he understands the science behind it.
Yeah.
So when he has to talk to these dumbasses, he's just there like slowly losing brain cells, like drool falling out of his like mouth, just like.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't know how Like, how does he do that? I do not understand.
Because
Like,
it makes him money.
no, as in, how did he even come to that original conclusion? Like, that's why they have peer-reviewed studies, all this kind of stuff, so other people can check your
Yeah.
check your work. Basically, they check your work, make sure you're doing well, all this kind of stuff, and then it's like, oh, I came to the wrong conclusion, and everyone else is wrong. I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong.
H Bomber guy did a whole like introspective on this, and he even went over the actual report, the news report that brought him down, basically that got him disbarred. And
Or
it was
de-doctored.
or de-doctored. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what it's called.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. He went before the medical review board and discredited.
Basically.
Yeah, same thing. Disbarred, discredited. And it was literally because he was paid. He had a lawyer who was like, "Hey, there is multiple millions of dollars to be made off of parents who file a lawsuit claiming that vaccines gave their kids autism. If only we can find a link between autism and how do you call it, and the vaccine." Obviously there was no such link, but the lawyer was like, "Hey, I want to make money." So he hired Andrew Wakefield for like $150 or $200 an hour in order to find this link, despite him already knowing, because the people that he hired, like the other doctors and specialists, you need a team to do these kind of research things, discovered that there wasn't. They couldn't find a thing, and he's where like the whole leaky gut thing comes from too, where like he would go on and like describe all that. But most of the doctors actually wanted, before the paper even came out, a lot of the doctors were like, "Hey, I don't want my name on this. I don't like the opinion piece that you're doing," and they were even like, "We would like to do a retract." Before the paper even came out, while it was being published in the Lancet, a lot of the other doctors was like, "Hey, we want a retraction of the opinion piece because we don't like where his conclusions are going. They're not supported by the evidence." But the thing is that what they were trying to do is they didn't really care about that. They just wanted to have it in a legitimate medical journal that there's a possible link between these two things, so that other lawyer could then use that as medical evidence in a court to essentially file that lawsuit with the parents. But the thing is that the only thing in those papers that there were the original opinions from before. So they couldn't use the parents' opinions in order to file the lawsuit. It wasn't considered, enough evidence, just people's opinions in a court. So what they did is they just did a study using those parents' opinions without actually finding any conclusive evidence or anything, which at best the paper was grounds for a better study on it, but now it's in a medical journal, so now that they could use those original parents' opinions as evidence in court. H. Bomber guy was like, "Yeah, it's like some sort of like idea laundering, basically."
Oh, that's true. Because it's it's the same fucking
yeah. So that's literally all it was. He was literally just paid in order to find evidence of something that doesn't exist, in order to file a lawsuit to make more money. And as a result, he saw that he could also make money by patenting a new MMR vaccine and by pushing the anti-vax thing. Because before him, there was only like 30 people that believed the anti-vax conspiracies. After him, now we have this whole movement, hundreds of thousands of people who are like, who invested so much. What's that fallacy called? When you're gambling,
fallacy?
sunk cost fallacy. Who like supported him through so much, and even now that he's discredited, they doubled down. And it's just he basically literally started the whole. Like if it wasn't for him, I highly doubt we would have had such a negative reaction to the COVID
and Jenny
policies.
McCarthy.
Yes,
Jenny McCarthy's dumbass. Everyone's trusting the opinion of a fucking supermodel, as fact.
Yeah. And but I doubt a lot of the people that currently support it, even Jenny McCarthy, even a lot of celebrities, would be as there would be so many of them if because when if it hadn't been for him, because he was literally the originator of the modern movement.
Yeah.
I guess technically it was the lawyer who paid him to do all that. So, but maybe the lawyer would be, I forgot his name because
he's not important.
He's not important, despite being the person that essentially caused the pandemic to be as bad. It's a direct chain reaction. The movement wouldn't exist without Andrew Wakefield's thing.
Jenny McCarthy being a dumbass, then advocating for something.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was it? 5 million people dying or something like that. I don't know how many.
Yeah. The little domino blocks, because literally if you're not exposed to these shitty ideologies, if they don't get your hooks in you, you're that's less likely to spread. People are less likely to believe it. Like I said, before Andrew Wakefield, literally 30 people believed it, and they were all in one essentially old school Facebook group. like I think it's Jabs Against Kids or something like that. I forgot the actual name. Like there was no one believing it, and then all of a sudden, boom, like infinite people believe it.
Yeah. So
it's so dumb.
7 million people.
Yeah.
7 million people have died so far from the coronavirus outbreak as of July 23rd.
Yeah.
This morning, basically. Damn, that's like crazy.
Like I full-heartedly believe that like the people that currently push it, because like if it wasn't such a big thing, the people who right now push it in the same way that Andrew Wakefield used to push it, like as like we know it works, but we're still gonna push that it doesn't. Like what's his face? In that the one who claims to be a progressive but is really like a fucking retard on late night shows. What's he called? Bill Maher? I think it's Bill Maher. Yeah, Bill Maher. Like he does the same thing that Andrew Wakefield did. He like pushes like the anti-vax conspiracy theories. Like, you take yours, but I've never needed to take a vaccine because I am strong. My immune system, I keep my immune system strong. So I don't trust the vaccines. But then behind the scenes, he made sure all his staff got vaccines.
Of course,
he made sure he got vaccines.
That was 100% Fox News.
Yeah. Like these people wouldn't push this as a medium because, you know, obviously pushing this builds controversy, is you know, it rakes in views, it rakes in money for all of them, and it probably wouldn't rake as much views if Andrew Wakefield didn't do his thing because he's the one that popularized it. So like and it took like 20 years for it to develop to this point or whatever, since like Andrew Wakefield's thing, however long it was. So even if it started later, we wouldn't have seen the death toll. I personally believe we wouldn't see the death toll because it wouldn't be such a mainstay idea, like a common household talking point to be anti-vax. It just wouldn't without Andrew Wakefield. It wouldn't. So I do directly believe that the chain of dominoes that fall lead directly to him and his propaganda. We wouldn't have so many deaths as a result of COVID if it wasn't for him. That's my hot take. Obviously, there's no evidence of this, but he is the
That's what you're talking about.
But he is the originator.
Yeah,
he is the originator of the anti-vax movement. So
he started the pandemic all the way back then.
Yeah,
so,
you know,
pandemic of stupidity.
He infected the virus that would eventually mutate inside the bag.
Exactly. He was single-handedly responsible. He was actually head of science over in Wuhan. I don't know if you guys knew this. And he was single-handedly responsible for bioengineering that vaccine. That is 100% true. There's no falsehoods in this podcast. It's absolutely 112%.
Also, if you didn't know, he put the virus inside of a syringe and just went around stabbing random people.
Yep.
You know, like in the early 2009s, there were these people called the gift givers at raves where they would just go around stabbing people with AIDS needles. That's what he did, but with the coronavirus. You know,
basically,
he's the coronavirus gift giver,
and the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
For legal reasons, it's a joke. Robert F. Kennedy says he's not on steroids. Credits testosterone replacement and fitness for good body. Look at this guy. Look at this guy and tell me he's not on steroids. He is as red as a fucking tomato.
I was gonna say, bro, he looks like he has a full body rash.
And dude, no, look at that fucking roid gut too. Like, this man's like, it's just a testosterone replacement and fitness. It's like,
I'm not gonna lie, if you didn't tell me that was a roid gut, I would have just thought he had like
something
a deformity.
Wrong. Yeah, something wrong with his fucking ribs. It's like,
the second I saw that, like the split second between you telling me it was a roid gut and you showing me that picture, I was like, is something wrong with him? Did the cameraman take like, is it like the shading? Like, what's wrong with it right there? Like,
nothing wrong with him. It's fucking roid gut.
Roid gut.
For those of you that don't know, roid gut happens because the steroids promote muscle growth, but they're promoting all muscle growth. Your intestines are a muscle, so they grow and they push out. That's why you'll see some people with distended stomachs, but they'll still have a six-pack, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've got a six-pack, dude. You looking at my six-pack?" Like Joe Rogan, Joe COVID-19's a hoax Rogan. Sorry, Joe. What's the horse medicine called? Joe Ivermectin Rogan.
Ivermectin, yes. I don't know why I was thinking hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy, close enough. But so he's like, he's like showing off his body, right?
Yes.
And like, you see that is huge roid gut because he's all distended on the sides, and he was telling one of his he was on like a podcast talking to one of his comedian friends. He was like, "Oh, you're looking at my six pack?" He's like, "Dude, what even is that?" And he was like clowning on him.
Bro,
the other guy was
clowning. Tumor.
I know, dude. The other guy was clowning on him because of it's like what, like
yeah, like
yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Dude, that look. I'm sorry, Joe. That looks so gross.
I'm sorry, Joe. I know you're gonna see this personally and talk to us about it, but
you're gonna come on the podcast and chat with us, bro. That looks so disgusting. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty.
Like I'm disgusted by my own gut. That looks even worse. Like I would rather have my gut than that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that was hard to look at.
And it's funny because when he was back in the old days, right?
Yeah, like that looks nice. That looks good. That looks that looks normal. That looks like a good gut. Like, okay, that's fine. That looks like something to work towards. And then you fast forward a couple of years, you just see like a fucking what's the shit? What's the thing that you make pozole in? An olla. Looks like fucking olla in his stomach.
Jesus. No, yeah, the road gut's pretty bad. And then there's more severe cases, obviously. Like some bodybuilders will have they'll have a freaking oh my god. Oh. Yeah. Look at that.
Dude.
He looks fat.
That doesn't look strong.
No. Remember, this is a bodybuilder where they're supposed to be like, "Oh yeah, we want the definition." Oh, there it is.
No, yeah, but that doesn't look like strong or like decent. That looks like he's gonna pop the second he tries to lift something.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me see. It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. Fucking bad.
So bad. No. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, and I they say what causes HGH gut? Well, HGH, you know?
Yeah, HGH. Fucking hell, dude. That looks so bad. No.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's fine. Just take enough roids and you can do anything. Just
literally, like, why do you even need to exercise? Just take roids, have your testicles shrink, and then be done with it. Who cares? They weren't using them anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Dude.
So, anyways, Secret Invasion.
I haven't watched the last one. I haven't watched the last two.
This most recent one? You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Whoa. Then you're never going to believe who's there.
Who's there?
Deadpool shows up and flashes his anus at Gravik, and Gravik is immediately compelled to give up. Also, Gravik was in the Barbie movie.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the Kens.
Oh, wow.
It was so funny going from seeing him being like, you're fucking dumb and all the, I don't know, tough guy, to being like, ha, ha, Ken, ha, ha, ha.
Speaking of the Barbie movie, you want to know what's so funny? You can actually track political affiliation via who's talking about the Barbie movie online right now. Because everyone who's Republican is talking nothing about, it's just straight up talking about the Barbie movie, and everyone who's left-leaning is talking about Oppenheimer. Like, you can track it via state, like, the same way you can track like trans porn, like who watches trans porn. You can track the Barbie movie the same way, and everyone who's Republican is like talking about the Barbie movie and stuff.
Yeah, because they're so obsessed with it, because they're like, there was a trans person existing, and they're talking about gay people, and it's like, you do realize these people just are existing, like, it's not even.
Yeah, and obviously I haven't seen it, but I I don't know. It's interesting to see that like conservatives are talking so much about the Barbie movie. Like, did you see Ben Shapiro's post about it?
Oh, Ben Shapiro destroying Barbie for 48 minutes, or was it a different one?
Well, no, his like Twitter post or whatever the fuck right before he went to go see it.
Let me see.
If you take a look at his notepad, it's like he's like complaining like, "Oh, my producers forced me to go see the movie." Like,
oh, my producers dragged me to see Barbie, and it was one of the most woke movies I've ever seen. My full review of this flaming garbage heap of a film will be out on my YouTube channel tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
It gives off very 14-year-old like, oh, so yeah, my mom had me do this. I didn't want to go, like, type thing.
Does Ben Shapiro have the hots for Barbie?
But also, if you take a look, you've seen it, so I'm sure you already know this. But if you take a look at the way he's dressed, it literally looks like he's cosplaying one of the Kens.
It does. I saw him, and he's literally just in a black shirt and everything.
Yeah, black shirt, black belt, black pants. Like, I don't know. It's pretty funny. It's always pretty funny. And then if you take a look at his notepad, he totally took definitely believable notes on it. If you see the indentations on the paper.
Barbie notepad. Let me see.
Like, look at that. Look at that.
Ben
same
Shapiro
post.
mocked for dressing like Ken to hate watch Barbie film. That's fucking hilarious.
Like, zoom in on the picture on his notepad. You're gonna see some indentations that totally look like believable notes he took to review the movie.
My brother in Christ, you're wearing a Ken cosplay.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not the first person to point it out.
No, I know, but that's so fucking funny. He's like, they drive me to this actually, and zoom in on his notepad. I mean,
Look at those indentations.
Jesus.
They totally look like writing, right?
He was fucking mad. He was like, you know what? LGBT people existing, and that's incorrect. And trans people existing, and no, it's incorrect. And women empowerment, no.
I still am like wondering how he's eventually going to deal with the fact that like Republicans don't like him. He's Jewish. Republicans don't like him. So I'm still thinking, because it's already hitting lesbians. I don't know if you saw the news article.
Well, I saw they obviously they don't like the trans Republican, which is
Blair White,
stupid.
like
yeah,
obviously,
dumb fucking retard. What are you doing? Like, you know what? The people that want me to be eradicated, I'm gonna be voting with them actually.
Yeah.
And then they slowly start to come for her and her stuff, and it's like,
no, but like it's already hitting like because like obviously because they're further along past the pipeline. It's barely starting to hit like certain gay people that were on the right. Like they were acceptable for a long time, but now they're more or less waging their war against trans people. So there's not much else to do in that space. There's really only Blair White, that's like Republican, maybe a couple of other more unknown ones. Mm-hmm. But like mainstream Republican LGBTQ people are now starting to get hit with like maybe biology isn't everything, because they're starting to be like, hey, gay people shouldn't have their names on the birth certificate of the child that they adopted.
Oh, Italy.
Yes.
Right?
And
fascists.
Yes.
They voted in an anti-LGBT fascist.
Yes. And one of the reporters who was like, she's essentially done anti-trans people work before, mm-hmm. talking about like, how biological reality and blah, 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 blah. And now she released a new article saying, hey, biology isn't everything because of that happened. They're like, hey, maybe LGBT, maybe like gay people should, like lesbians should have their names on the
birth certificate.
On the birth certificate. Yeah.
So guess how many birth certificates were issued to gay couples in Italy since 2017?
How many?
No, guess. Because remember, 4. They're making up a whole stink about it, right?
Yeah.
Guess.
4.
There's more than 4, but
22.
27.
Oh shit, I was close.
You were closest without going over. There was only 27 pairs of families that had that. And yet they were so mad that they had to make all this fucking legislation and enact it into law and stuff. Like, the cruelty is the point.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not helping anyone. They can be like, yeah, we're winning against all these people. It's like there was only 27 of them.
Yeah.
27 of them in all of Italy. Like, what are you fucking doing? Italians love 2 things: pizza and fascism.
Yes, that's true.
Like, that's literally it.
They could never give up their Roman heritage.
Nope.
They stayed fascist throughout the ages.
Like,
no, but like,
Mussolini,
cruelty is the point.
This bitch.
How do you call it? The Mussolini party is still a part of Italy politics.
Oh, the daughter, right? Or the granddaughter?
Yeah. Like that her party is literally the party of Mussolini that just stayed. Like it never got disbanded. Like, if there's a fascist takeover of your country and you survive it, why would you keep the party that did the fascism in the first place? Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I know we're in America, we're not ones to talk exactly. We still got the Republicans, but like, come on, like come on, what are you doing?
Yep.
No, but you're right. Like, cruelty is the point. Like, you remember when all the transgender sports bans were happening here?
Mm-hmm.
It was particularly egregious because one of them, there was literally one trans person that it would affect. It was a high schooler, and it was a trans man. So it was someone who was born a woman who went into men's sports that it would be affecting.
There's let's say, even if there's a couple hundred trans athletes, right? Because remember, trans people are like 0.000% of the population, right?
Yeah.
And then athletes on top of that are another 0.00, right? So let's say there's a couple hundred of them.
At best.
At best. There's 300 million people in the U.S. Do you know how many kids were slaughtered in 2022? Let's Google it. Let's see.
How many kids slaughtered in 2022?
Children died 2022 to guns? Let's find out, right? More than 6,000 children killed and hurt by gunfire in 2022. So, you're telling me that you can enact legislation to ban trans people because you hate them so much, and yet you love children so much, but you don't enact any sort of gun control? Because I'm not saying, let's take away all the guns and blah, blah. No, I'm saying people that a great argument I saw where they go, oh, um, cars kill more people than guns all the time. Maybe you should take away. Maybe there should be a car ban. It's like, no, you're right. Cars do kill a lot of people, but that's why we have car insurance. We have car licenses. Like there's all these different sets of laws, right, for control over regulation. There's regulations over them. So yeah, let's do that. A gun regulation where it's registered to you, and you cannot sell any sort of unregistered ghost gun, regardless of what kind of gun it is. You have a license for that gun and insurance for that gun in case of anything. Is like, perfect. Let's do that. But they're like, oh no, that's too fascist, and you're infringing upon our rights. No, it's a well-regulated militia. You fucking idiots. Read the goddamn Constitution. It's not just right to bear arms.
And even if it didn't say a well-regulated militia, why? What other aspect of life would we allow someone to have so much control over other people's rights, like other people's rights to body and liberty?
Well, when they're women, duh.
Oh, true. That's true. I'm sorry. My bad. I forgot. Women aren't people. I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot half the population. It's not actually a population. They're just objects. You know what? We actually do have a right to infringe upon. But I mean,
that's true. No. In all seriousness, Like, what else? Like, and like, I'm not gonna lie. My thoughts and feelings about like the whole gun debate are a bit mixed and complicated, because on one hand, I don't doubt for a second that first off, like, to start off with, just like everything else, the right to bear arms that the Republicans always speak about, it's fake. They don't care. If you look back at like other places that have the same views on politics and guns that the Republicans do, they don't really care about like mass ownership of guns. If you look at Nazi Germany, gun ownership went up while they were in power, but they went down specifically for Jewish people. They increased gun control on a particular subset of the population while increasing it overall.
Ronald Reagan in California, you remember?
Yes, I remember.
Black Panthers open carrying. They're using their right to bear arms. All of a sudden, it's like, no, it's not okay. So it's not okay now, you fucking fascist?
The NRA, this is one of the only times in history where NRA lobbied to increase gun control.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention right now, like, there's so many videos of where like people will do like a test, which I feel is particularly dangerous. They'll have a black person walking down the street with a gun,
open
carrying, and
perfectly legal.
Cop cars will come out of nowhere to like subdue him, and it's just one person carrying a handgun, and like 17 cop cars will show up out of nowhere, and like they'll like arrest them and like do all this stuff, and usually nothing happens, but I still feel it's particularly dangerous. And then they'll do the same thing on a different day, and a white person will be open carrying, and
the cops are like, whatever.
Like, they'll go up to so much nothing happens that exactly what you said will happen. They'll have the person open carry up to a police officer and talk with them for a little bit, and sometimes the officer will be like, "Hey, what's going on? Why are you coming close?" Other times the officer will just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like casual conversation, just someone walking up to them with a gun. Like,
all the open carrying while black videos is the black guy on the floor and the white guy's high-fiving, and it's like, it's fine. Like, it's literally black guy in a white area with an AK-47. Okay, I don't know about AK-47.
I don't know about AK-47.
That's technically illegal, but open carrying in Target, and it's like, why you shouldn't open carry, all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Like,
and the fucking, see, I already forgot my fucking point because I was looking at all these. Another one that I saw was, they did another experiment where it's like not as severe, right, but still showed racism. A white blind guy asking for help versus a black blind guy asking for help. The white blind guy would be walking like this. He'd grab onto someone's arm and they'd be like, oh, okay, and then they'd like walk him, right? A black blind guy grabs someone's arm, they'd be like, they'd pull away, recoil, and be like, "Fuck's wrong with you?" Like, it was so bad.
Yeah,
I want to find that one. It was so fucking bad.
Yeah, find that one. Put it up on the Jimmy. How do you call it? No, but like, I'll put together, like, there's that, but also, I don't know, I have very complicated feelings because I don't think that like disarming at-risk communities is like a good idea, to be honest. Like, I am ostensibly pro-gun because
wait, just real quick, remember, we're not disarming any. My opinion is not in disarming people. It's in regulating them. So that everyone is legally tracked, registered, has stuff. Because I know obviously there's going to be those people who are like, oh, well, bad guys are always going to find a way to get a gun. And it's like, well, when we make it, when we make it much harder, it's going to be that much easier to track them because we're going to know for a fact it was already either illegal, whatever it is. Because you know how people they're like, oh, he had a ghost gun, and ghost guns are illegal in this state and this state. No.
And it's so easy to get one. Like blah blah blah. blah.
All this BS.
No, I am in favor of regulation. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, don't get my words twisted. I am in favor of regulation. I really need to see like the fine detail of like the fine print of any regulation that goes into guns, because I don't trust Republicans. And for the history of America, Republicans have been more armed than left-wing people.
Yep.
Black Panthers and certain other times, you know, like not the IRA, what's it called? It's slipping my mind, but the Native American Resistance.
The NRA.
The NRA, yes. No.
NARA.
I'll put it out there. I'm currently a member of the SRA, the Socialist Rifle Association. You know, and I do go practice on occasion. Like, I don't trust, like, especially like quote unquote normal Republicans that live out in the country. Like, we saw it when the riots are happening even here in the U.S. Like, a lot of the places where I would go set up to go sell lamps would sometimes already be blockaded by a lot of the Republicans that were like in favor of the thing, and they would be out there with guns. And you know, I'm just gonna go sell lamps.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly armed at the point.
I'm not gonna get shot over just trying to sell lamps.
Yeah. So like we would leave, and a lot of the times, especially when we would go farther up north to go sell lamps, like convoys of like Republicans wielding guns, yelling out their window is happening.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this, but being Hispanic and selling stuff that ostensibly looks, you know, a little bit queer, and you know, considering the way I dress, sometimes it's not exactly a safe position to be in when a convoy is coming down, fully armed.
Yeah,
and you know that they hate your life.
Have you seen that meme where they were like, "Try that in a small town," right?
Yeah.
Which is just like, it's just a racist dog whistle basically, because he's saying like, oh, you know, you can't do that in the big city, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, there was a black guy that was just running. He was just running in his fucking backyard. And that was in a small town. And the white guys drove up and fucking shot him to death. And then they got convicted. Obviously, they're all in prison for life. But it's like,
it's good, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at this point, it's too little too late. But it's like, what do you mean? No, try that in a small town. That, again, just racist dog whistles.
It's just racist dog whistles.
Found the video. Look. They're all gay. The white guy. The way they fucking recoil. I think that I'm like, music's probably claimed, so I'll mute it. But look, they literally fucking flinch and recoil every single time.
What, and dude, that dude's fucking jacked. Like, why is he scared?
Look,
grabs. Yeah.
I mean, you know, slightly guiding him, but it's like, look. They're still like, what the fuck? And they're like,
I don't understand why they're so grossed out.
I think it's France because it looks like the French flag.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's guiding him and stuff, but like, you know, he's like not even. 100% of the time they're fucking recoiling, you know. And then it doesn't matter. Like the white guy, he's like, let's help him out.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just ingrained racism.
Jesus, I know that guy laughed still, but it's like.
Okay, finally, one person's scared of the white guy, but
she's still grabbing.
Yeah, she came back. She came back when she realized that it was blind.
Just the white guy. Imagine if the black guy tried it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy. I know they cherry pick things also.
That's the other thing. Like when you have pre-recorded things, it's the same thing like with Ben Shapiro, right? Like they can always edit out the ones that didn't go their way, or for the narrative they're trying to spin. But still, the fact that so many people, you know, ostensibly will recoil when like a blind black person reaches out. It's not good. It's not good.
It is not. I mean, there's so many experiences like that. That obviously not as dangerous as the gun one, but there's so many experiences that they have done where it's like, oh, a black guy asks for this and a white guy asks for the same thing, or
just like what was the recent thing that happened on the news?
A lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No,
a lot.
Like three minority teenagers, I think, broke into a pool to refresh because it was like 100 and something in Florida.
To refresh?
Yeah, to refresh.
I mean, breaking and entering is still wrong, but
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They brought out a helicopter to track them. It's 3 14-year-olds.
What?
It's 3 14-year-olds, and they brought out a helicopter to track all of their movements. Do you think a helicopter would be brought out if 3 white teenagers.
They'd be like,
even
they're just
18-year-olds.
kids. They're just kids. They're just messing around, guys. They got their whole future ahead of them.
Yeah. If it was like 3 20-year-old drunk white people, they would be like,
still, they're just messing around. Dudes
they're
having
just
a good time.
Drunk. Yeah, they're just a little, they're just a little tossed, It's fine. They just been hitting the sauce a little too hard. Whatever. Motherfuckers, they like follow these teenagers out of the pool and through the neighbor. Like, no,
I know. It's like it's like I said. Oh, you can do so many experiments. Like, we don't need experiments. We see it every single fucking day.
Yeah. Like, obviously, it's wrong, but the response is disproportionate. Like,
all the time.
Like, all the time.
Yeah, minorities always being disproportionately persecuted and they get longer sentences. I mean, this is all proven stuff. Again, it's not. I'm not even saying like, oh, actually, did you know that? I'm not being the Ben Shapiro for liberals, but it's a proven fact. Black people are sentenced for longer, for severely, for much longer periods.
For less.
For white people for the exact same crimes. White people getting slapped on the wrist. I mean, Brock Turner, that rapist who raped a girl.
Dude, a rapist went up to the Supreme Court.
Straight up. It's nuts. But but I'm saying Brock Turner because he was confirmed to be a rapist, right? Yeah. Brock Turner, the guy who raped that girl, he was basically like, he's got a bright future ahead of him, but look at him, it's all white. I mean, it's all right,
Yeah,
like,
it's all white. It's all white.
But
it's whack. I don't know what else to say about that. It's whack.
Where do we go from here now?
I don't know. We're gonna go have ice cream because it's fucking hot in here.
Honestly, it's fucking steaming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
What you got?
I was gonna say, like, because originally I kind of got sidetracked. Like, all of that to say, I also am finding it hard to trust a lot of like left-leaning people online. How do you call it? We talked last time about how like Anna Kaspernick from the Young Turks essentially fell into the
Kasparian?
Yeah, Anna Kasparian. Right, okay. She fell into the alt-right like grifting thing because like the how do you call it? The pull to make, because like, let's be fair here, on average, a lot left-leaning people are more smarter than than right-wingers on average. So it's very easy for left-wingers to pull the right-wing grift. It's not exactly difficult for anyone with 3 brain cells to appeal to whatever to make money off of them.
Yeah.
It's very easy to take money from babies. Let's just say. And in the recent years, a lot more left-leaning people, or people who considered themselves left-leaning, have been delving into that grift more and more as they realize that there's not a lot of money on the left. Anna is one good thing. The classic example is David. David, I forgot who, but he used to be on the Young Turks as well. David something. And then there's Breonna Joy Gray, who was in the Bernie Sanders campaign when he was running in, I think, 2016. All of them turning to the right-wing grift just to make money off of people. And you can straight up tell, because they used to, like, they know all, like, the facts and all the evidence. They still do it because there's a lot of money to be made in fleecing right-wingers.
Dave Rubin?
Yes, I think Dave Rubin is his name. He used to be a left-winger as well, and he's slowly shifted more and more right. It's gone to the point where it feels like the Young Turks is just a factory where, like, certain people make their name as like left wingers and then do their whole why I left the left thing and then make and they make the actual money when they turn into right wingers.
Like, yeah, Ethan on the H3 podcast is talking about that, how it's like, dude, it would be so easy to just grift. I mean, we said it before, make your fucking supplements and be like, we got doomsday supplements here, and you guys gotta remember to take them up because the big government and the lizard people they're coming in here and they're turning the fucking frogs gay. Like, it's so easy if you had no morals to just go, you know what? I'm going to just shill for right-wing people. Go on Twitter because it's basically a right-wing cesspool now. And you go, guys, look what I just discovered. I went to go watch the Barbie movie. But you know what I really discovered was this. And it's like just the same 5 points that they've had where it's like, you hate minorities. You hate women. You hate LGBT. And abortion is murder. And climate change is not real.
You
touch on those 5 topics
deep state government is
it's the deep state, but it's not the deep state. Because the deep state was actually the fucking... what are they called? You know what I'm talking about, right? The Republican ones?
Republicans, yes.
The Republican...
The capitalists.
Federalist Society.
The Federalist Society. How do you call it? No, yeah. But you know what's even easier than that is ostensibly remaining on the left, but or claiming to remain on the left, but then doing the same talking points as the right wingers. That's like, even easier.
I'm actually a liberal, but you know what? They're having some good points, and
yeah. That's so much easier because a lot of left wingers, as long as you are part of the minority, will refuse to critically analyze what you're saying. Like, and then if you're not part of the minority group, you will essentially be like, oh, why are you criticizing it? Like, you'll get shit on Twitter, like, and like on other places, if you disagree with them. I know this happens a lot. Like, there's a few prominent examples. There's FD Signifier. I don't know if you've seen his YouTube channel or seen his Twitter, but like, he's one of these, like, he's like this black person that essentially does that. He'll like
an Uncle Tom.
Yes, basically, to an extent. I don't want to call him that because, like, I don't know. It feels kind of, I don't know. It feels weird for me to call him that, but he ostensibly is. He's essentially doing the same thing that what's his face on the Supreme Court is doing.
Uncle Clarence Thomas.
Yes, Uncle Clarence Thomas. He is, and he's been called out by other black people before too for doing that. And like they go hard on like this is like why at certain points, even being a part of the same minority group isn't enough to allow you to criticize someone for like having bad politics. Because there's this other YouTuber, Shark. They essentially started like calling him racial slurs when he disagreed with them.
See, it's so easy to just you can easily lose a debate by getting called a racial slur. I don't know if you guys know this, but sorry, the easiest way to win a debate is call your opponent a racial slur.
You know, that's it. That's GG.
Yeah.
How do you call it?
You start making good points. Just get on your fucking phone and just.
And there's like a whole community of what are like called essentially like TTT girls, which is essentially like a TTT is like this 4chan sub space thing. I don't know what they're called on 4chan, but like subreddit type thing, where essentially they'll like do right wing anti-trans talking points, but they're all like trans girls basically on there. It's basically self-hating trans
Turf
girls.
trans or something.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know what the TTT stands for, but that's essentially the shorthand for them because that's where they hang out. And like, I don't know, like the ideas of that community have essentially spread out into the like a good portion of the wider like left community. Like I think it's a Xander Hall video a little while ago, and like it was ostensibly people who it's split between people who have these like legitimately like left-wing politics and people who pretend to have left-wing politics in order to grift while actually espousing a lot of like they essentially try to couch right-wing talking points in like left-wing identity politics basically. And it wasn't a perfect split because it was more a video about like who agrees with him or who's friends with him and people who aren't, just to like give his community idea of like who actually hates him on the online sphere, the left sphere, or like BreadTube as it was called. But obviously, because of left wingers will call out left wing grifters a lot. A lot of the people that were on the side that don't like them was because they were called out, and like this happens a lot. Like one of the people that I thought was not necessarily immune, but who was better than average because a lot of their videos were actually really good at calling out like corporations and YouTubers who were engaging in bad things basically. Was Illuminati. And I don't know if you know this, but she essentially like tried to recreate YouTube serfdom, or tried to create YouTube serfdom in the end. Like she would hire editors, but the way she would hire them was like, oh yeah, I'll pay for your you can live at my house. I'll pay for your food. You'll just work for me for free. You won't get paid.
Indentured servitude.
Yes, indentured servitude. How do you call it? And she essentially recreated that while ostensibly claiming to be on the left.
They're basically slaves.
Yeah. And like, I'll buy you a car because you need a car. I'll basically control all of your finances, all your living things. Also, all your groceries, you can buy them through me. I'll pay you back for them. Like, like basically, I'll control your entire life. Just how do you call it? Just do the work for free.
She's the company store and the company town all in one.
Yeah. She's the company store, company town, everything all in one. And then when he tried to run away, he hadn't run away yet. It was really complicated. And did I forget to mention he was 19 when all this started? He was 18, 19 when this started. You know,
Jeez, your brain's still a pile of mush at that point.
yeah, like we still criticize colleges for getting like 19-year-olds into like lifetime debt just like before they're actually able to even like.
When you're 18 years old, you can decide to be in a lifetime of debt. You can kill a person, but you cannot drink
Yes,
in the United States.
exactly, and
It's fun.
and when he went back home, like he was ostensibly just visiting for now, but like he was like on the cusp of leaving essentially, if I remember the story correctly. And she essentially came, enacted her rights to take back the car, and essentially cleaned him out of like thousands of dollars of equipment that he needed for his job too. And those were his equipment, and he never got them back. And it's thousands of dollars. And this is when he's broke, mind you, because she hasn't paid him in years.
Yeah.
Years. So no, like all this like horrendous shit that like happens from like ostensibly left-wing people who are trying to make money off of left-wing sentiment. And it's gone to the point where like it's very hard to trust anyone espousing like left-wing ideals online, because you never know when they're just going to shift for the money. Like I said, I thought Illuminati and Anna Kasparian would essentially never do that. Like I legitimately thought, because I followed them for so many years. Anna Kasparian is one of the reasons why I started becoming more left wing.
But also, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Fucking money is going on behind the scenes. That's a lie. We do know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just getting paid money.
It's so hard to trust anyone espousing left-wing ideals online.
Except for Ethan from the H3 podcast. He's 100%.
Ethan,
him and Hassan. That's pretty much it.
Well, no, not even Hassan.
I know. Hassan gets some stuff wrong sometimes.
No, it's not just some stuff wrong. He had FD Signifier on his stream. He is like I really like a lot of Hassan. Like for Hassan, I have a rule of thumb. If you're talking about foreign politics, he is essentially as bad as you can get.
As anyone else, yeah.
Yeah. If you're talking about homegrown politics, like internal, like United States internal, he probably has the good take. But when you come to he can be ostensibly as bad as anyone else. Just when it comes to foreign politics, he takes the America bad first, and then any other evidence second. Which
his uncle was the creator of the Young Turks.
Yes, he was.
Nepo baby
too. Yeah. Which, okay, whatever, get your bag. Like your ingrown politics are fine. Just don't listen to any of his like foreign takes. His foreign politics are very, very bad.
Hassan Piker, let's see, Palestine. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh God, no, I remember this. So bad. Hassan Piker has some bad foreign policy takes. Some horrendous foreign policy takes.
He's very pro-Palestine and makes many arguments for Israel oppressing Palestine. Okay, it makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, he does not want Israel wiped off the map either. Okay. Yes. But yeah, I don't know.
Which, if I remember correctly, the solution is a two-state solution, right? I'm sorry, I'm not brushed up on my Palestine thing.
It is the most complicated issue in world politics since its inception, because Jewish people went, oh, we need our state, we need our place, blah, 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 right? So Israel, which gets the backing of the U.S. government at the moment, right? Because they're like, you don't want to be anti-Semitic, you don't want to speak out. But then you have Israeli people gunning down Palestinian civilians, calling them dogs, all this stuff, like
taking their homes.
No, yeah, that too, right? Setting up an apartheid state, because by definition that is what it is.
Yeah,
like, just by definition, right?
But it's so complicated because why the Republicans support them despite being inherently anti-Semitic?
Because they're just white enough.
No. Because it's an ethno state, and ethno states support other ethno states. Yep. But you get the double banger that the Republicans are also Christian, and one of the prophecies to initiate Armageddon is for the Jews to reclaim the Holy Land.
Look at that.
So they're pro-Israel because of those two things combined. The Republicans are fascists, so they support the ethno state, but they also think that like by them retaking the homeland, Armageddon and the end of the world will start.
So the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the world's most enduring conflicts, beginning in the mid-20th century. public declaration of claims to a Jewish homeland in Palestine, including the First Zionist Congress of 1897 and the Balfour Declaration of 1917, created early tensions in the region after waves of Jewish immigration. Following World War I, the mandate for Palestine, including a binding obligation for establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. 1947 United Nations partition plan for Palestine was never implemented and provoked the 1947 through 49 Palestine War. The current Israeli-Palestinian status quo began following Israeli military occupation of the West Bank and Gaza in 1967 during the Six-Day War on Palestinian territories. So it's been going on since basically 1900.
Yeah.
So let's see. Supported by the U.S., Israel, supported by the U.S., former support France, UK, State of Free Lebanon, and Lebanese forces, they're no longer supporting, and the governance is supported by the Palestine by the Arab League, Syria, Iran, previously the Soviet Union. Soviet Union has since collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
There's been over 22,000 casualties since until 2013, so that's probably a lot higher, right?
Yeah.
But Hamas, what was I think? Let me double check before I say anything anti-Semitic, right? But Hamas was like they're the governance.
Accidentally anti-Semitic.
So it's a Palestinian Sunni Islamic fundamentalist, militant, and nationalist organization. So they're basically they're the de facto governing authority of the Gaza Strip following the 2007 Battle of Gaza. They hold a majority in the parliament of the Palestinian National Authority. So Hamas is 100% also guilty in killing Israeli children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's war crimes on both sides, but
Israel is one of the reasons why I essentially came to the conclusion that ethno states are never good, because Israel, you can double fact check me right now if I'm wrong, was created essentially to create a safe haven from persecution after World War II and everything. World War One. And it still became how do you call it?
An ethno
a shitty place. No, a fascist state. It still ended up becoming what they were running away from, just for other people, for the Palestinians.
Yep.
So it just solidified my conclusion that ethno states are just never a good idea. You can never have a good ethno state in real world politics. And most of the data that confirmed it for me, but most of the data agrees with this. The most racist people are the people that are most separated from the people that they're racist or phobic against. Essentially, the more removed you are from other people, the more the culture tends to demonize those people that you don't have any contact with.
Homogenous cultures that are less culturally diverse.
Yes, and as a result, they're more prone to fascist tendencies. Because it's very easy to stir isolated people against people they don't know anything about or have no contact with. It's pretty whack.
Yeah, but it's crazy just how much more Palestinian hate I've seen online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Israeli people will be like, oh yeah, they gunned down some dogs today, I don't care, LOL, and things like that, right? Presumably because they're living in ivory towers and fucking the Israeli people that are commenting those things are so privileged that they have no concept of seeing them as human, and they're so far removed from the conflict they don't have any empathy. Well,
it doesn't help that one of the main places that we all congregate on now is Twitter, which is essentially ostensibly run by a fucking Nazi now.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has gone full right-wing Nazi, and he has boosted other Nazi accounts using the platform. The CEO of Twitter has ostensibly pushed Nazi propaganda on a daily basis now. Essentially, of course you'd see more of that if the richest person in the world, the person who is considered to be one of the people in control of the major faculties of the United States, pushing Nazi propaganda is not going to help any non-racist goals in general.
So listen to this. So the West Bank, right? The Israeli West Bank barrier is a separation barrier. It's a border. Like
Yeah,
they're
border.
calling it a barrier.
Yeah.
Built by Israel along the Green Line and inside parts of the West Bank. The West Bank, excluding East Jerusalem, is known in Israeli law as a Judea and Samaria area. The almost 400,000 Israeli settlers residing in the area are considered part of Israel's population, but and their output is considered part of Israel's economy, but the land itself is not considered part of Israel under Israeli law, as Israel has consciously refrained from annexing the territory without ever relinquishing its legal claim to the land or defining a border with the area. You get it, right?
Yeah.
They're basically saying it's not technically ours, right? It's not legally ours. We haven't actually annexed it, but we have a barrier up there, and we consider everyone who lives in there part of Israel.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you get me? It's
But
really
don't tread on it. Don't go into it. Just pretend it's like ours without us actually claiming it's ours. Yeah.
Yeah. So it pretty much seems like Israel. Again, I'm not gonna say there's 100% right, 100% wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like Israel is the main
Perpetrators.
pretty much, because I mean they're the ones that hold the power. And again,
Yeah.
I understand that the Palestinian government has radical people within it, and they're like, they've done terrorist
Yes.
acts to Israel as well, but Israel is the one being backed by the U.S. that has
Yes.
billions of dollars funded over to them, and if you point that out, they call you anti-Semitic.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
but my point is that
But I
it's
mean,
like,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like ostensibly, supposedly left-wing people will be easily fooled by like identity politics.
It's
into
like
supporting like really right-wing ideologies.
exactly. It's like David and Goliath. If David was a fucking paraplegic, dude,
Yeah.
straight up. And Goliath is just stepping on him all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe David's able to bite his ankle here and there, but it's it's really messed up. And the fact that you can't bring that up into conversation and go, guys, I think Israel's doing something wrong. They're like, anti-Semitic. It's like, no, I'm not saying anti-Semitic. I just don't think they should be executing children in the streets like they've been doing on the West Bank
Yes.
for the last who knows how long.
Who knows how long? Like there's that, and then there's also like the particular thing where I started like being disillusioned with a lot of like the left-wing content creators that I would like follow is a lot of their takes on like the Russia Ukraine. Like I can tell like it's like night and day my YouTube channel feed how many people I had to unfollow because of like their ostensive support for a fascist state in Russia.
Yep.
Where like their brains just turn off when it comes to like foreign politics, and they support like ostensive war crimes and like in like annexations and invasions that are no longer justified in the modern day. Like they essentially like were trying to like defend Russia because of its invasions, and were like essentially supporting Russia either like implicitly or like directly. And I just like unsubscribe from a lot of these places because I don't think any good ideas can come from people supporting fascist states. Like then in that case, all it would take is someone here in the U.S. because like what they're claiming for Russia, the reason they're supporting Russia is because they're going against the United States and the Ukraine, right? Because the United States is supporting Ukraine. But I mean, that's essentially what the Nazis claim that they're doing. They're essentially claiming that like that. And if you can be convinced by that type of rhetoric, then how can I trust that like when the Nazis start doing stuff here in the U.S., you're gonna stop them? They're doing the same rhetoric that Russia is doing.
Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, and per a 1993 report, chemical and biological weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Israel has not signed the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons and maintains a policy of deliberate ambiguity toward its nuclear capabilities. The Israel Navy's Dolphin submarines are believed to be armed with nuclear Popeye turbo missiles, offering second strike capability. Since the Gulf War in 1991, when Israel was attacked by Iraqi Scud missiles, all homes in Israel are required to have a reinforced security room impermeable to chemical and biological substances. So it sounds again like they're kind of like, do we have nuclear weapons? Who knows? Who knows? You know,
fuck around, find out. You know,
yeah,
just
it's fucking nuts. They're 9th in the world for global arms exports in 2022.
Yeah, no one beats the U.S. though.
Jeez. They're honestly number one. USA. They rank 134 out of 163 nations for peacefulness. Presumably because of the conflict, right?
Yeah, the conflict.
So, damn. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I don't like how a lot of lefties are essentially convinced by non-issues or like by just like well-produced videos. Like I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's giving it's giving non it's giving bad vibes.
It's not good vibes.
It's not good vibes.
It's really got not good vibes right now.
It's not good vibes. It's not good vibes seeing like essentially them get convinced to be against their own interests by flashiness.
Yeah.
It's like
well,
it's like no.
Point is, we have solved this 100%.
Yes,
just merge
we're
them into
always right.
one giant
just take our
state.
opinion.
Call it Israelistine, and then just be done with it.
Just be done with it. It's fine.
See, we solved the conflict.
There, GG. Or just send nukes everywhere. You know, that also ends the conflict.
That ends all conflicts. Broke to Friday.
We're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. Now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday. Bye, my friends. We'll see you next week. And now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday.